Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to your third distance learning lesson for Scots Language with Mrs. Smith. So last week we took a little bit of time out because of VE Day. So just to give you a little bit of a reminder of where we're at, we've already covered a little bit of a Scots recap. Last lesson, so not last Friday but the week before that, we talked a little bit about the structure of a drama script. Today we're thinking a little bit about speech and dialogue, and then we're going to be going on next week to plan our stories. So as a little bit of a reminder of what we've done in the last lesson, we learned a little bit about the way that drama has changed through history and how it was compared to how it is now. And we also talked a little bit about the basic elements that make up most drama scripts that you might see. So things like the character list, the scene setting, the stage directions, and the dialogue, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today, is a little bit of dialogue. So we also widened our vocabulary by adding some new Scots words to it, and we're going to do that again today, and we're going to keep doing that over the next few weeks. So just to give you a bit of a recap, you can go back and see some feedback for last lesson on your OneNote, but it was very, very well done. So just to give you a little bit of a reminder, the character list was a list of who was going to be in the particular scene. The scene setting, makes sense, was telling us about the setting and where the action of the story was going to take place. The stage direction was maybe the bit that you might not have seen before, and those were the little special instructions to the actors about the way they should say their lines or how they should act out what they were doing. And the dialogue, which is what we're talking about today, is what the characters say to one another. So for your spelling starter today, here is the link for the dictionary website for Scots, and the link again if you need it for the app, which you should now be able to get on your iPad. So if you haven't already done that, then you might want to check it out. It's pretty useful. So your words for today are we, Kaylee, and laldy. Okay, so I want you to post these on the distance learning channel where you've been posting your sentences for English. So last time some people got a little bit confused and they posted them on the general Scots Language channel. Please try to avoid doing that just because it makes it very difficult for people to find the instructions for the lesson. So make sure that you post them in your own class team in the distance learning channel. So pause the video and just have a go at that just now. Okay, so moving on to the main part of today's lesson, we're talking a little bit about script dialogue. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Well, in any other kind of literature, and in scripts as well, books, plays, films, that sort of thing, dialogue refers to the written conversations that are being spoken between the characters. So what do people say to one another? But drama scripts are a little bit different because dialogue makes up most of what we see written on the page. So you need to think really, really carefully about the things your characters are going to say, because that's the primary way that any readers of your story are going to know what's going on. So we're not going to get big paragraphs like we might get in a novel where we find out what's been happening in the story and who everybody is and how they feel about each other and things they're thinking about. Most of that's going to come across from the dialogue, so that's why you need to think so carefully about it. So just to get used to that, we're going to do a little dialogue task. So I have added a page from a drama script to your OneNote for Scots Language, a different one from last time. And what you're going to see is that all of the dialogue has been removed. So your task is to come up with some dialogue on your own that matches what is supposed to be happening in the scene. Alright, so if you need a little bit more advice, this is kind of what it's going to look like when you go on and you find it. So you're looking for something that looks a little bit like this picture here. This is what your page is going to look like. So the premise of the story, what's going to be happening, is written at the top, and you'll see that next to the character names, all the spaces are blank. So you're going to have to go in and type or write your own dialogue. You're going to think about what the characters might be saying to each other and kind of come up with it and add it in yourselves. So pause the video and have a go at that just now. Okay, the final part of today's lesson is something a little bit different, so we're going to be doing a Flipgrid task, just a small one. I think most of you will have had a chance already in your different subjects to have a wee look at Flipgrid, but if you haven't, don't panic because it's all very straightforward. So I've made an S2 Flipgrid for us to use. I think it's called Mrs. Smith S2. So the link for you to access that grid has been added to the Teams post where you got the link for today's lesson video and all of your instructions. So if you go back onto Teams, you'll see in that initial post, that is where you will find the information for how to find the Flipgrid. Once you're on it, what I'd like you to do is, obviously you're going to join the grid. I want you to click on the topic called Getting to Know Each Other, and then I want you to read the instructions, there's only a couple, and record a short video response. And this should be something, a little bit fun, a bit silly for us to kind of get to know each other. Okay, so if you pause the video, you can have a go at that just now. And that's the end of today's lesson. So remember, please guys, if you have any questions at all about today's lesson or any of the tasks, please join the Thursday tutorials or even email me and let me know. That would be fantastic and I'll be happy to help. But until then, we'll see you next week. Bye everybody.